guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zai. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I am so excited to be sharing with you guys part 1 of our backyard makeover. Wanted to start this video with a little intro and give you guys a little bit of a background. So we've been living in our home for about almost 3 years. In October it'll be 3 years, and when we first moved into this home we thought, wow, the backyard is so spacious compared to everywhere else we've ever lived. We had been coming from an apartment at that point, so this was just like an amazing blessing to have this much space back here. Our backyard came with a fully grown lemon tree, orange tree, and peach tree. And then shortly after, I want to say maybe a month into living here, we bought an apple tree and a nectarine tree. We've got lots of fruit trees in the back. The previous owners also had these like cinder block garden beds on the side of the house, which we didn't really like where they were, and the fact that they were like cinder blocks. It was kind of in an awkward area of the house, and we thought, okay, we're gonna break these apart. It took us a long time. Some people were like, why would you do that? But we just didn't like it. So we demolished that. I want to say like maybe a year and a half into living here, 2 years maybe. While I knew we were going to be doing this backyard makeover, I didn't expect it to change as drastically as it did. I might be a little dramatic when I say that. The backyard doesn't look unrecognizable, but there has been a lot of change, and so I thought I was just going to include like little clips and vlogs, but then I thought I'm just going to make a whole video so that I can also look back and see the entire transformation and then share with you guys the process. So that's what I'm going to do in today's video. And the reason I say that too is because I didn't necessarily film a really good before, so I knew I had some videos of the backyard before, so I went all the way back to my empty house tour video. I'm going to be sharing a snippet of that, of what the backyard looked like right when we moved in. So it isn't like entirely accurate, but pretty close. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys some before and after. I'm going to be going into detail from start to finish. The backyard is pretty much done. Part 2 will include more of the like little details. Don't want to continue rambling. Without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy part 1 of our backyard makeover. All right, here is our backyard. Look how big it is. I love it. I mean, considering where we're at now in an apartment, this is huge. I love our backyard. It's seriously like one of my favorite parts about this house is to have a backyard. And they did leave this gazebo. They left this gazebo here, which is fine. I actually like it. I don't like the little curtain things, but I do like that it's all black. There's so much potential for this backyard. Right here actually is our bedroom. And our bedroom also has a slider. There's tons of sliders in this house. There's lots of windows. But we have 2 orange trees, which is awesome. They have a garden here, but we're actually gonna remove that and make our own planter boxes because we just don't like that. So we started off this project with simply wanting to remove the grass on this area, because if you guys can see in the very front, the grass was dying ever since we got our dog. Our grass has just been slowly dying with all of the pee and the running around, and then this area was just not being utilized. So we were kind of just like measuring out our garden bed situation and how many we can fit in here. Originally we wanted to put 6, and then we brought it down to 4. I feel like 6 would be starting off really strong. We're rookies, we're beginners, we don't even know what the heck we're doing. My husband did most of the work when it came to ripping up the grass. I helped him more towards the end. The one thing that we struggled with was the leveling. Because towards the fence and the tree you see there in the corner, the dirt and everything was just much higher. I want to say it took about 3 to 4 full dedicated days of ripping up the grass, and then once we completely removed that, we ended up renting a compactor. My husband did that fully on his own. It took him about an hour to just try to flatten it as much as he could and then level out the ground. Then shortly after, we got this heavy duty tarp to keep any weeds, just to act as a barrier too. I'll link the one that we got down below. I'm pretty sure he got it from Lowe's. And then we moved on to finding our rock. You guys might think I'm dramatic, but it was the picking of the rock that was taking the longest for me because I had a vision. I didn't want anything that was like super pebbly. You guys see that sunset right there? That is the one that we ended up picking, and you will see why. I love the crushed look over the pebbly look. We almost went with this black and white, and what was really cool is that we were able to go in the back and see the rock, walk on the rock, just see how it looked in the sun, see how it looked outside. Those look smaller and more crushed, which I like, and I like the color. And these look a little bigger, which I didn't really want the comparison. We were also able to wet it to see what it looked like. The color changes when it's wet, and I just absolutely loved the sunset one. It went with my vision board, and the guy that worked there was explaining to us that because of the way that the rock was not made, but the way that it's crushed, it is harder to kick it up as opposed to the more pebbly looking rock with, you know, our dog just running back and forth. Those would get kicked up a lot more and create a lot more mess. So I'm glad we went with the sunset. I love the color. I love the shape of them. And I just think it's really beautiful.
Is that what it's called? Sunset?
Yeah, it's called sunset.
All right.
Nice.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18, and what's that, 19?
Something that I did not mention in the intro was the fact that we got a new fence. If you guys noticed it back there, if you guys didn't notice, go back to the beginning of this video because it is a real big change. We were so fortunate. It was such a blessing because the fence actually came to us for free. We share a fence with these buildings behind us, and our neighbors, like, they all share that same fence, and so they paid for it for their aesthetic, and then we benefited from it, and that was not in our budget. That would have cost so much more money than we were willing to spend. So we have a really beautiful fence now. Now the side fences, as you can see, are not so beautiful. Those are still very old, but not within our budget right now. So that's going to take some time to do. As for the garden beds, because I feel like some people are going to ask, the two to the left are 6x3 and the two to the right are 7x3. The reason we did that was because we wanted a wide enough path in the middle of our garden beds to be able to walk through, and having it that extra bit, cutting it down that extra bit, wasn't necessary so that we could have enough room. And you honestly can't even tell. Something I did not know we were doing for this project was buying new patio furniture. So we already have a patio set of a couch and 2 armchairs, but we wanted to get a table and some chairs so that we can host more, and we have this middle space in our backyard where we had another table that we ended up moving, and we bought this table from Wayfair. Unfortunately, we bought it, and 2 weeks later it was on sale, and we tried to reach out to customer service, and they're like, sorry, you bought it at that price, you're gonna keep it at that price. So that was a bit unfortunate, but I love this table. It was so easy to build. If you get anything from IKEA, there's 100 different steps. There were literally 4 pieces and just a couple of screws, and we did it in 15 minutes. These are what the garden beds look like right before I put the linen seed oil, I believe it's called, and we did talk about getting chickens this year. Unfortunately, we are going to have to wait until next year because we have so much happening. Another project for another time. Okay, little backyard update. I've been filming a lot on my phone, not enough on my camera, doing lots of B-roll shots, but while I have a second. By the way, we just got back from church, which is why we're dressed up doing housework, yard work. Yesterday, you guys saw before my camera.
Tell them the landscaping company you hired to do all the work.
We got this table off of Wayfair, and we built the chairs in a day. They were super, super easy to build. The chairs came in 4 pieces and just a couple of screws, and then the table was in I think also 4 pieces. The top, the legs, the bottom. Yeah, literally the easiest table to assemble. But yesterday you guys saw me adding teak oil because this wood is, how do you pronounce it? Acacia? Acacia. I'll put it on the screen so you guys know what I'm talking about, but it's like real wood. And so it came with instructions to add teak oil. I needed to add 2 layers, but the thing I was a little irritated about now that it's like dried, we did this last night, is on the instructions for the teak oil, it said don't like remove any excess. So now, at first I wasn't applying enough, I feel like, but then I don't know if you guys can see that, like the drips. Yeah, now I'm gonna have to fix that. So it's just little things that I'll have to go back and fix. But we're getting rain tonight, so we're gonna have to bring these inside. And then I just strapped the cushions. And then over here, Steven added linseed oil to our beds, which is food safe, but it's basically so that with the weather and all, the beds won't rot and as much. So we're hoping that they, you know, I think we'll have to like reapply it. I don't know if any of you guys have made garden beds. Give me your tips, you know, with when it comes to wood, what's worked, what didn't work. But he's already done 2. We have to do the other 2. While I was over here applying this linseed, whatever you call it, oil to the garden beds, my husband and my son went to our local nursery to go get some soil, bags of soil. Now, don't make fun of us, please, because I feel like we already knew this, but we really underestimated how much soil we needed for these beds. Now, I've seen some people like add things at the bottom, whether it's like rock or like some tree branches or like wood or whatever, to the bottom of the beds, one for drainage, but also to help fill the beds. So it turns out that you can actually my dad actually found it for us, this place online that's local to us, but they sell soil by the yard. And my dad's like, yeah, I use the garden bed bags of soil if I need to top off my garden bed, not to completely fill it. So I don't even want to tell you how many bags deep we were into this, but thank goodness that we got that information before filling up the rest of the beds, because we're like, dang, it is taking so many bags of soil just to get this one garden bed filled. Rookie mistake that we made. Also, I showed you guys many vlogs ago, this pot that you guys see to the bottom right. Beautiful pot that I got from my grandma's house. It has a very like Mediterranean vibe to it, and I didn't really know what it was I wanted this backyard to look like. I didn't really know the theme, the style, but my husband was looking at the nursery and he's like trying to find some trees. Originally he wanted to get like a fruit tree, and I'm like, you know what, we got plenty of fruit trees. So he showed me the olive tree. And I thought the olive tree would look so beautiful. They're mainly for aesthetic, but it was so pretty. I thought it was so pretty with the pot. And so because of this one tree, we are now going for a more like Mediterranean. I almost said Mediterranean vibe to the backyard. And you guys will see those elements incorporated more and more as we get more to the like decorating stage of this backyard makeover. Something that I had really been needing to do. You guys see my kids' water table. I think my kids have had this for maybe 3 years now, 2 or 3 years. And this is what sun damage and water have done to it, which is something that we didn't want the garden beds to do, which is why we did that linseed oil. So I decided to sand it down, and I needed to hose it off first because I found the most gigantic spider. 2 spiders in here because we just weren't using it anymore. You guys see all those webs. Thick. That thing is thick. Where'd it go?
It's in the crack.
Yeah, anyway, ended up hosing it all the way down, letting it dry, sanding it, and then I decided to use that linseed oil on top of it. It's not perfect, but it looks very rustic now. It looks finished, and now we are using it so much more. The kids are finally using it again. It just needed a little TLC, so you guys will see it finished in the next video in part 2. Here, my husband and my son are just applying some mulch. I feel like we haven't really been taking care of our 2 main fruit trees as much as we would have liked. And it just needed that like extra like loving. And so we're applying some mulch, and he dug into the ground a little bit because you guys see that barrier so that the mulch kind of there's like a division between the mulch and the grass. So we're adding that in. We were just really slacking on taking care of a lot of the things in our backyard, a lot of the things that our backyard was providing for us. And this backyard makeover has definitely encouraged us to care for, our space a little bit more. I'm really good about caring for the inside, but I wasn't so good about caring for the outside. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of our backyard makeover. Stay tuned for part 2. Love you guys, and thank you so much for watching today's video.